Hello, I'm the sweet 16 that never been fisted, Trevor Ashley, and welcome to Drag Hag. In this week, it's the final episode, so we will recap the final episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under with the top 4 queens: Scarlett Adams, Keita Mean, Karen from Finance, and Art Simone.
Drag hag, you're a drag hag, a bona fide first class, a drag hag, you're a drag hag, you're a drag hag, a bona fide mother-tucking first class, drag hag.
What a season it's been. Fights, flops, surprise saves, memorable moments, and Australiana for days. Yes, it was the first season of Drag Race Down Under. And for our final episode of Drag Hag, we get to spend time with the top 4 queens on the eve of the crowning. Welcome to all the girls.
Hello,
gorgeous.
Now, Keita, how does it feel to be the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under Season 1?
Whoa! It's absolutely mind-blowing. Whoa, what the heck? How does this crazy little drag queen become the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under Season 1? I'm lost for words. I'm so happy. I'm so happy! That's crazy. I can't.
Now, we're going to talk today first about this final episode. You got some first up in the episode, you got some really fantastic words of encouragement from Olivia Newton-John and Chloe Lattanzi. Keita, was that exciting for you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like Olivia Newton-John, like, oh my gosh, talk about like a living icon, legend, and like to have them addressing us directly was just like, oh my gosh, so many dreams coming true in such a short amount of time is just so overwhelming, and I'm beyond grateful because, like, Lord knows, like, you know, no human deserves that much, that much all at once. So, like, it's so grateful and just, amazing.
You also had a plethora of celebrities visit the show, both digitally and in real life. Who was your favourite? Karen.
Well, I'm going to give you 2 answers. The first one was Troye Sivan for making the most amazing and memorable comment about his sexual encounters ever experienced on Australian television. When it happened in real life, we were like, oh, that's not making the edit. And then it did. But then I think it was definitely Dame Olivia in the end, in the final episode there. I felt like that was a little, sign from the powers that be out there in the universe. That was really special to see her.
How about you, Art?
Danny Minogue. She came in right at the right moment for me. It was like seeing someone from home, because she's from Melbourne, and I've worked with Danny before, so it was like, it's like a message from home. Even though Danny isn't my mother, but maybe she could be.
Scarlett, how about you?
My favourite was Auntie Donna.
Which I found so hilarious that it was Auntie Donna for you.
I think, do you know what? I think it was because, I love Auntie Donna. I think they're incredible. I love their comedy. And I was just not at all expecting to see them on Drag Race. Like, I kind of thought we might get Kylie Minogue. I thought that would be really, really cool. And it was so cool that we got Kylie and Danny and the Veronicas. But I think I was sort of maybe like expecting or like, oh, okay, this is Drag Race. And then when Auntie Donna popped up, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
We got quite a few jokes early on in this episode about the top 3 plus Art. Art, how was it being the extra, being brought back, and how did you feel going back into the competition?
I was pumped. I was ready. I was excited, as I said, when I got back in there, I'd felt the worst possible circumstance. So I wasn't scared anymore. I felt the absolute pain and upset of being eliminated. So the prospect of that wasn't scary. So I could focus on being myself and being fabulous. And the one good thing is too, it's like I never took a position away from anyone because it just became 4 in the end. Instead of a top 3, it was a top 4. So it was a top 3 plus me in the end. But we didn't have to do like a double elimination or anything to take an extra opportunity away from the girls.
Yeah, which I think was great. And I felt that you came back stronger and having more fun.
Oh, that's it. Like, going back in, I just wanted to be like the lovable larrikin I am and just have fun. And that's why I was just pulling gags and jokes and from that point, it was just so joyous.
Well, I feel like I did my exit interview with you about 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God.
Been a long 6 weeks, Star. Been a long 6 weeks.
Yeah, I've aged. My hair's graying already, so.
We moved on in the episode to revealing the final challenge, which was all of you having to write and perform You're a Winner, Baby with RuPaul. Art, you were the queen of rap, I think, in this. And we spoke about you previously having jokes and verses prepared before you came. Was this no exception?
Yeah, so I had like a massive book because we had the hotel quarantine. So instead of just sitting staring at a wall, I'd write down lots of things. So I was so excited I finally got to like condense them and chop them up and make the verse for this challenge because I missed out on it with the girl group challenge. So it was my time to spit some words.
Absolutely. Well, it seemed like you had that really together and it came across really brilliantly.
Thank you.
Keita, you chose to sing it. It came across brilliantly, I think. But why did you choose to sing?
Well, thank you, firstly, because it was a bit scary, like making that call. I usually just sing in the shower where there's like really cool acoustics. So when you're like kind of having to lay it down professionally, it was like a whole different situation. But I did it because, for one, I love singing. It's another thing in drag that I sometimes dabble in, and it makes me really happy when I do it. And I knew I'd already kind of rapped. In episode 3, it was I did it kind of like a rap, and it was more kind of like comical and the campy side of things. So I kind of just wanted to really do something more from the heart, and and singing felt more appropriate for that. And I had the best time doing it, and it was no regrets at all. That was so much fun.
Well, from a singer, darling, I thought you did a brilliant job.
Oh, thank you, Trevor. That's like, from hearing that from you, that's just like overwhelming. Thank you.
Scarlett, now song and dance routine has really been one of your strong points this season. Were you as happy with this number as, say, the pole dance?
Yeah, I was. Performance is sort of my wheelhouse and my strong suit. So going into that last challenge, I felt really comfortable and just wanted to have a really good time on stage, and I really did. And and like getting to write and record a verse on a RuPaul song, what the fuck? Like, I never thought that I would do that.
Have you ever done any recording or anything before?
No, never. And like we went to like a professional studio and everything to record that last one, and it was just so weird, like with like these headphones on, with this microphone in this little booth. It was a really cool experience.
Now, Karen, you were having nerves about this in the workroom, mainly over the choreography, but also over your lyrics. You were second guessing it. Were you happy with the result?
Yes, I did second guess myself, but there's nothing better than just sleeping on it sometimes. When I was writing this verse, I was picturing performing it live. I think back to someone like Trixie Mattel doing Kitty Girl at the club in front of 1,000 people, and I thought, if I'm going to write this verse and people are going to enjoy it and sing along, I was like, what do I want that experience to be for me and them? And I wanted it to be a bit like weird and kooky and like dreamy. I wanted to do a bridge, not a verse, and yeah, I was nervous about it, but I'm really glad with how it turned out.
We got one of my favourite moments of any season of Drag Race when Ru and Michelle come and give you a bit of a therapy session. Karen, was it the first time you got to really chat and speak to Ru and Michelle on that sort of level?
Yeah, it was the first and only moment I had an experience like that. And now I was already, as the season was going on, I was already impressed with how professional and how profound they both were as people as well as judges. But when it got down to, this chat, the Jaffa lunch, if you will, it was they've got magical powers. Like, Ru can see into your soul, and she knew things about me and was talking about things that I didn't even know about me. It was really like a spiritual moment. It was really, really cool.
Yeah, was it amazing to have that moment? And was she scary on set? Did you find it intimidating for the rest of the season?
No, I didn't. I expected to find Ru intimidating, but I just didn't. She was so warm, and I truly mean it. She was so warm and so camp and funny and just everything that I didn't expect her to be. She was really, really I would love to have spent more time with her. She's really fun.
Art, I felt when you went in, you almost sort of had dropped character for a time, and we got to see you sort of as you. And the way Ru spoke to you, it really got in your head afterwards. How was that experience?
Yeah, it was very shocking because I've never sat down with someone and had them pick my brain apart and pick me apart and deconstruct it for me to look at differently. I've been working so hard for so long that there hasn't been a time to sit and reflect and, just analyze the way I am. So it was quite shocking, and I know I shut down and I was like, I'm just processing this at the moment, because I know they were saying a lot of things. I remember Ru was like, what do you think about that? I'm like, I'm just processing this. But it was wonderful because it really helped me turn the eyes around and look at myself and look at it in a different light and see how I can better and change and adapt to keep doing what I do.
Keita, it felt like you had the biggest breakthrough of all the girls. Did you, and you sort of took it into the workroom afterwards as well. How did you feel in that moment and being so vulnerable with Ru and Michelle?
It felt really amazing, actually. I've always been a very sensitive person, and in my later years in life, I've fortunately been able to really kind of connect with my mental and emotional state in a more kind of intelligent way. I feel like I can understand and kind of process my emotions in a more constructive way and understand them more. So it was really special being able to sit down with Ru and Michelle because they're so in tune in those ways as well. And they were really able to kind of just I felt so comfortable with them that you kind of step out of the realm of reality. You're no longer on the stage with lighting and cameras. You're just kind of chatting to these really warm, beautiful spirits. It just felt like spirits connecting and understanding me, and it was it was really special and just really really amazing. It's funny because you kind of just think of them first off as just these fabulous celebrities hosting a show, but they're so in tune with that stuff, and they actually helped me realize some stuff in my life that I had never just come to those I'd never connected those dots before. So it's amazing that they could do that for me. And yeah, it was so genuine from them that it just, you can't help but just sort of like it resonates in you. So it just, comes back at them. It's yeah.
Scarlett, you obviously had some very big moments on the season when Rue called you out for doing blackface. How important was her forgiveness of you?
It was a really big moment, I think, for me, and I had no idea what was going to happen. So to have Rue say that it's a teachable moment was really. Sorry, I don't know what to say. It's it was a really strange experience, and that was definitely the hardest thing that I did on Drag Race. And to have Rue sort of in my corner felt really good.
And did you get more out of that session with Rue, being able to sit down and talk to her and Michelle in this final episode?
Yeah, I did. Going into it, I was nervous, and I didn't know what they were going to talk about. We had like a list of things that they were potentially going to talk about in the interview, and some of them were really heavy. So I was like, oh my God. But I feel like it went well, and I left feeling good.
The show was actually full of moments this season where you all individually let your guards down about family and your lives. Art, you spoke about being your family's breadwinner. You also spoke about your father effectively disowning you. Was there a moment that you were proud of particularly?
I think if we go back an episode, my most proud moment too was talking about why I do drag and what drag means to me in terms of taking drag to regional places of Australia and why that's such an important thing. I think I was really proud that message got to come across because, I've lost a family member because there was no queer visibility and representation or safe places for them in regional Victoria. So I'm really glad that conversation's been started and people know why I do what I do and why I sit in the car for 5 hours and drive to a country town to put a drag show on. I'm really happy with that. But all of the stories, I'm glad that they come through because there's going to be people out there that are watching that it's happening to them right now, or they haven't, where they can see that, yes, you can do it. And yes, there's other people out there like you, and it does get better.
Yeah, and that's such an important message to be sending out to people in regional Australia.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Scarlett, you spoke about your father in tonight's episode. Is there anything over the season that you wish hadn't have aired or that you're not proud of?
Yeah, that reading challenge where I read myself and I told them not to put it in the fucking episode and they did.
But we all loved that. We all absolutely loved that.
God, now everyone's gonna know. No, I do you know what? I'm really proud of the work that I took on Drag Race, and I'm really proud of the performance that I gave and the stuff that I showcased. And in terms of the drag, I'm really happy with that. I think there was a lot of shadiness that was like not really there, was sort of made to look like we all hated each other when we really actually all got along. But we're there to make television, so it's TV, doll. Like,
I felt like it was more like all of you had great relationships, and Australian drag, you always sort of dog each other, and that's sort of how I felt.
Yeah, I think that's what people maybe didn't see, is that like we call each other cunts because we're friends. Like, there's such a sense of mateship with Australian and New Zealand drag, and I mean, Kita and Karen and like Maxi, and like they're such incredibly lovely people, and we get along so well. And I wish we got to see more of the mateship and how much we truly get along. I wish we got to see more of that.
Karen, you spoke about losing your mum when you were very young. I thought that you certainly came across as the Miss Congeniality of this season. Are you happy with the way that you've come across throughout the season?
Oh, that's so kind of you to say. Thank you. That's really sweet. I'm really happy with how I came across. I think that people always talk about the edit, but I think it was really, really authentic. My memory of what happened, what I did, and how I felt was really proven in the way they put the show together. And I'm just so proud of what I did. So I have the cringe factor when I watch myself back on television or when I hear myself, but I really enjoyed watching this season. It was really special.
Keita, you made a point in this final episode that all of the queens on the show are actually survivors. And I thought that was an amazing point. How important do you think that a show like this shows that side of gay men, the vulnerability?
Oh, it's so important. I've been watching RuPaul's Drag Race since it started, as I'm sure like a lot of us have, and it's done that from day one, even for me. Seeing these stories, and it's not just RuPaul's Drag Race. That's why representation is so important in the media, or just like in life. It's so important for us to see people that are just everyday people going through everyday things, because the world isn't just straight white people. The world is made up of every single person on this planet. Every single human being has a different story, processes things differently, has gone through different things, and it's so important for us to see other people's stories, because we can always relate in some way, shape, or form. And so that it's so cool that queer people have this platform, and I hope that the realm even expands further for more queer people to be on this platform or other platforms, because it is so important. And it's helped me, and I just hope that that can continue going.
Absolutely. So you were competing against two of your sister girlfriends from New Zealand, both Anita and Electra. How did it feel when Ru asked you on the runway who you would send home and you having to say Electra? Did you plan on saying her name, or was that something you had to think of off the cuff?
Well, so we don't get told that that's about to happen. So that completely was just no one was, I wasn't expecting it anyway. I always navigate things with honesty. It's something that I've grown into, but as I've got older, I'm 35 now. I had to think about it. I'm 35 now, and every year or every day I get older, I feel like I'm kind of maturing more and more. So I've learned to kind of navigate things with honesty is the best way for myself and just anything. And that was the truth of the matter at that point in time. As much as I love Electra and I'm so proud of everything she had done, my answer to that question, I felt, was Electra should be the next person to go home. It made sense from my perspective, and so I had to answer it accordingly. So it was really hard to do. I wish I had the courage to just throw one of those professional Aussie bitches under the bus.
I know that you've watched the show a lot. Karen, was there any challenge that you wish was a part of this season that wasn't on it?
Well, yes, Trevor Ashley, there was. I did Drag Race, wanting there to be a scripted comedy acting group challenge. You know, that's like
Absolutely.
that's the one thing I wanted to do. I was so excited. I've dreamt about it for years and years and years, and we didn't get one. Every single episode, I walked into the workroom. I was like, "Today's the day." And it just didn't happen. We kept dancing, and we kept singing, and then we were sewing. And I was like, "Oh God, what are they going to make me do next? Cook? I don't know."
And you didn't even get to do a stand-up challenge or anything that was really dialogue-based, did you?
No. Everything that I keep in my arsenal that I'm, that I'm good at, that I claim as, what I do for a living, it was, I didn't get an opportunity to do that. So I was disappointed, but I made the most of the challenges they did give us, and who knows, maybe there'll be an All-Stars moment one day.
That'd be fabulous. In tonight's episode, we saw something that's only been done once on Drag Race history, which is for all four of you to be lip-syncing to the same song, which was Olivia Newton-John's Physical. Scarlett, how did you feel doing that?
Do you know, that was... Obviously, we filmed this earlier this year, and that had never happened on Drag Race before that we knew of. It happened in season 13 finale, which aired after we did it. So when Ru said you're going to be lip syncing each individually, we were truly gagged. But it was also a really cool moment because then it was like, okay, cool. I don't have to compete for attention with 3 other competitors. I can just get on stage and perform and do a spot, which is like, it's what we do, So it was really cool. I actually prefer that than trying to do like a 4-way lip sync.
Was that similar for you, Art?
Oh my God, we were shocked. We had no idea. We were ready for our 4-way lip sync. And I was like, all right, well, I'm in this big gown, so that's fine because I'll kind of be able to park and bark it. But then when it was like, oh no, you've all got to perform it as a solo. And then we were all watching each other and gags that other people were doing. We're like, but I was going to do that. So it added a different level to it. And I can't wait to see it all cut together because I think it'd be quite fun. But I just had fun. We'd made it to the end. We were having a good time. It was bloody Olivia Newton-John. I was just there to have a good time and see it through.
Keita, how about you?
Oh, so much fun. Just doing it was so much fun because I hadn't really had a chance to, I'd really only had to lip sync for my life with Elektra, and that wasn't fun. I love performing on stage, like adrenaline takes over and I just have the best time. But yeah, doing that with Elektra wasn't fun. So being able to do it the following week in the final was just like outrageous, and being able to watch everyone else do it and then doing it myself and have them watch me, it was an experience that I wasn't expecting or prepared for, but I absolutely loved it. And I just went into it like, I'm just gonna have a good time, and I'm not gonna worry about anything. I'm just gonna like really enjoy it, and I did.
Karen, how did you feel about doing that in the room? How was it? Were you first? Were you last?
I was thrown a little bit when we got told that we were doing it individually, because I had prepared a lip sync with some jokes and moments, thinking that I was going to be doing it with the other girls and playing off them. So that was a little bit of a shock when that happened on the runway. But it was a really interesting lip sync, because the only other time I lip synced on the show was against Anita, and that was a real we were fighting for it that day. Whereas this lip sync kind of felt like a celebration. We were performing to Ru, Michelle, and Reese, not with critical faces of them staring down their nose. It was more a celebration. Everyone had a smile on their face, and it's just such a beautiful camp old Australian song. It was a really special, fun moment to do that.
Now we saw some epic lip syncs over the season. Who do you think over the whole season was your favourite pairing?
Oh, it'd be Maxi and etc. for absolutely everybody, because that is just a drag staple, and I'm so glad that those two got to do it because they did the song justice. It was so much fun, and it was electric in the room. We were just like partying up. You can see us in the back just being like, yeah!
That was one of my favourites. I think probably my favourite over the season was Maxi and etc. doing that. It was so great. Scarlett.
Oh, let me think. My favorite was mine and Maxi's. I'm sorry. I had so much fun doing that. And it was such a great song. Finally, we got a Kylie song. Yeah. And it was a chance to perform. Going into that lip sync, I know lip syncing is like not something you want to do. Like you don't want to be in the bottom. But going into the lip sync, I was like, okay, this is, I'm going to turn this into a positive. I'm going to turn this into a good moment, and I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to perform the house down. And yeah.
Keita, what did you think?
It's so hard because I connected with every single person, every single cast member on that show. So it was always like someone's going home, and like it was like, it's not really fun for me to watch it. So like, I couldn't tell you, like, I don't watch it from a perspective of like, oh, yes. I'm like, oh, God, like someone's going to go home.
Now, Karen, who was your favourite pairing of the lip syncs over the whole season?
My favourite pairing, I think my favorite pairing was probably etc. and Maxi Shield. Two Sydney girls, two different generations, one camp iconic Australian drag anthem. That was really fun to watch.
Now we're going to play a little game of Hideous or Heaven.
My favorite. I've loved Hideous or Heaven on your podcast this whole season. It's been so fun.
Well, thank you. Well, we're going to do it now, but what you have to do is pick the most hideous look from the season and the most heaven look from the season from the other girls. Karen, who was your hideous?
Well, I'm gonna have to go with etc. on this one and call out Keita Mean's ball outfit from the design challenge. I sat back and said nothing that episode. I thought she was camp as hell, but I thought it was the most hideous thing I'd ever seen.
See, I didn't mind it.
Etc. Play the, have the villain bitch roll that episode because I was thinking it.
And finally, who did you think was the most heaven look, Karen?
Well, I mean, am I allowed to say myself?
No.
Oh, damn. Okay.
You can say something. Say someone else. We'll get to you in a minute.
All right, sure. Who had the most? There were so many good looks. I mean, there really, truly was so many good looks. I am going to have to go with. I think I'm gonna have to go with Keita Mean's sickening look. And I say that because the way this gown was structured and moved down that runway, she looked like she was underwater. And when we talk about illusion in drag, there was some kind of fantasy that was being given by that outfit. It was just really, I felt it was really left of center. It was really unique. I think that was probably my favorite.
Art, okay. What did you think? Who was the most hideous gown?
That would be Karen from Finance dressed as Chappelle Corby. Oh my goodness. I mean, it was hideous, but in the best way. We were laughing so much.
And Art, who did you think was the most heaven?
I think my most heaven, if we go back to episode 1, would be etc. with their Born Naked look. I think it was really brave. It was fabulous. It was pushing the boundaries and had a great message behind it. And I'm so glad that got to be broadcast across the world.
Keita.
Okay, yeah. The most hideous. Oh, she's going to hate me for saying this. I'm going to get in so much trouble for saying this. I think the most hideous, and bless her, because like it had such good intention and such beautiful story. But I think the most hideous was Electra's There's No Place Like Home look. even though she was wearing the most beautiful rainbow korowai that was gifted to her by her Maori drag mother, like the story and all the mana behind it is like beautiful, but like just it wasn't beautiful.
And what about the most heaven?
The most heaven, I reckon, one of the most beautiful runways that was on the entire show was Art Simone's most current one, which is her garden dress with the mechanical butterflies and the moss. I love that because it's like super camp but super high fashion, and I love the way she used like boning as like fence posts, and even her makeup. I love how it was almost like the no eyebrows, and it was sort of like down. It was just like soulful, and it was like beautiful, but like almost like distressed as well. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
It was stunning. It was one of the the headdress runway really was epic.
Yeah, so much fun. So much fun. A lot of people have said, like Keita's headdress wasn't big enough and stuff. Like I went into every approach for my Drag Race runways purposely trying to fuck it up a bit. Like I've always been a bit punk. It's where my roots are. Like, so I was never gonna just like do the obvious, apart from maybe No Place Like Home. I was like, I'll be a fucking all black. But that was, I wanted to be like unmistakably, Kiwiana proud. But I always tried to kind of like give it like a fresh perspective. I'd always kind of like think like, this is what I want to do. And then I thought like, how can I like, I probably can't swear, sorry. Like, how can I like
swear away, Dal. Scarlett, how about you?
The worst costume on Drag Race? Oh, God. There are so many looks.
There are so many looks.
Oh, hideous. Probably Keita's ball outfit.
Really?
But, I don't know. Yeah, no, that was foul.
And what was the most heaven look you saw from the other girls?
Oh my God, that's even harder. There are so many good ones. I'm going to give you a couple. I think Karen's shark outfit that she wore for the ocean runway was
pretty
genius.
Iconic.
I loved that. I had another one on the top of my head. Now it's gone. Bugger. Yeah, let's go with Karen's shark outfit. And Keita's jellyfish outfit. I want to steal that costume. It's so beautiful.
And
I think the ocean and headpiece runways were the best runways, I think.
They were. I enjoyed those, definitely.
Yeah.
And we, of course, saw some amazing looks from each of you on the season. What was your favourite look you presented?
It's a toss-up for me between the ocean and the headpiece, but I think I'm going to go with headpiece because I made that entire costume and that headpiece myself.
I'm the most proud of my family resemblance runway. I mean, obviously I won it. At the time I was like really hard on myself. But watching it back, I was really proud of it. To see see how happy Carl was and how like great Carl looked. I'm the most proud of that one for sure.
Karen,
my poodle headpiece in episode 7, the How's Your Headpiece runway. I just thought it was the most ridiculous and most beautiful thing that I've ever worn, and I adore that. I adore that ridiculous poodle headpiece.
It really is amazing. It must have cost a fucking fortune because I looked at all those feathers and went, "Oh my God, that's a lot of ostrich."
Look, it's a lot of ostrich, but I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it retail, Trevor.
Well, that's a good thing, darling. That's a good thing. I'm glad for you. You've got to give me a supplier because that was a lot of ostrich, and I need something like that in my life.
Yeah. No, that was just when we were designing all of the looks, that was the drawing that I didn't believe we would make come true. And it was heaven.
Art.
It would be, I haven't seen it on camera yet, but on the day, it definitely would have been my finale gown. I was so excited that I got to hit the runway with that. But if not that, I think it would be my Melbourne look, my hometown look. That was a labor of love with me and my closest friends with all the hand painting and everything. And it was really a love letter to everything I love about Melbourne. So it'd be between those.
Fabulous. And of course, it has really been a big journey. Would you do it all over again?
Let me have a holiday first. If I got the call right now, probably not. I think I want to sit and relax and really, I want to get there and perform again. I don't want to be locked up in a hotel room just yet. But let me breathe and then come back to me.
Karen?
Absolutely not. You know what? The girls always say it. They're like, you spend your whole life dreaming of Drag Race. And once you've done it, the best thing about doing Drag Race is the fact that you never have to do it again. It was one of the coolest campus things I've ever done, but it's so difficult. And I, Trevor Ashley, am a control freak, and I do not like having that control taken away.
Yeah. No, and I understand, and I think I would hate that too. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it for that reason. Scarlett, how about you?
Absolutely not. Never again. It was so stressful. Yeah, it was the most stressful thing I've ever done, and I don't need that kind of stress in my life anymore.
Keita, how about you?
In a heartbeat, I would do it all over again. It was so intense, and such extreme highs and extreme lows. But hey, that is the spice of life. And as long as I am doing drag, I will be there. So absolutely in a heartbeat. It's not even a question in my head.
Thank you to all four of you for joining me today. It has been such a memorable first season. Congratulations to all of you.
Drag hack, yup, a drag hack.
Thank you all so much for listening to Drag Hag. It is my first podcast and YouTube channel. It's been so great to have so many of you like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's been great interacting with all of you. I'd like to do a big thank you to Emmy David, Sam McEwen, and Adam Rennie, who have helped me film and put together this podcast each week, as well as all of my very special guests, David Campbell, Virginia Gay, Gretel Colleen, Neil Whitaker, Lucy Smith, Jack Vidgen, and Hans, as well as all of the queens from RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under. A huge thank you also to Stan for giving me access. Thanks all so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, my name's Trevor Ashley. If you didn't, my name's Courtney Act. Thank you and goodbye.
Drag hack.
Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to comment below. And as well as that, you can find many more videos right up here. Keep watching and subscribe.